Good morning. I'm Andrea Fleming, and welcome to NC Tech's Focus on Talent webinar. I'm our Director of Talent and Workforce Development, and happy to have all of you join us today. So a little bit about NC Tech before we get started. We're a not-for-profit, membership-driven trade association and the primary voice of the tech industry in North Carolina. So NC Tech's mission is to foster growth and champion innovation in North Carolina's tech sector while providing a voice for the tech community. Our membership includes close to 600 member companies, organizations, and institutions employing more than 200,000 workers in North Carolina. Our work is in 4 major areas: professional networks, government affairs, sector promotion, and talent development. The talent and workforce conversations overlap all of these areas and are critical to the success of an organization. Labor force and talent pipeline are a big focus in the U.S., but especially for tech companies as they have specific skills needed for the industry. So we'll be hosting several of these talent and workforce development focused webinars throughout the year. So watch for announcements and promotions in our newsletters and on social media. Some of the topics will cover diversity, equity, and inclusion, apprenticeship, education, and the role of the community college system, training and development, women in tech, and recruitment and retention. So if you have a suggestion or request for topics or companies to present, please reach out to me. I'll share my email in the chat in a few minutes. So today, joining NC Tech, we have Terry Henderson with Microsoft. After Terry's presentation, we will have time for questions. You can add those to the Q&A box or hold to the end if you'd like to unmute and ask your question. After the session, we will share a link to the recording, slides, and Terry's contact information if you would like to follow up. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Terry Henderson with Microsoft. Terry's the Corporate Engagement Program Manager for the Microsoft Software and Systems Academy. That is a mouthful. MSSA, for short, provides transitioning service members and veterans with critical and career skills required for today's growing tech industry. Service members bring deep experience from their military careers that's highly transferable to career paths throughout tech. MSSA provides that technical training that enables participants to leverage their core skills and interests to start their career journey in IT. Terry's role really nurtures those relationships with over 1,000 hiring partners as they look to hire MSSA graduates for roles in IT, as well as advising those organizations on veteran hiring practices. He's also a very dedicated mentor for the participants in the program. And with that, I will turn it over to Terry.
Thank you very much, Andrew. I'm going to say good morning to everyone and all the members of NC Tech Association. So glad to have this opportunity to talk with you this morning. I wanted to really share the genesis really of this meeting, how it came to be, my connection with Andrea to do this today. I attended one of the webinars earlier this year, and one of the presenters talked about that there was a void of strong talent in IT. And then because I work with strong IT talent when it comes to veterans, I was like, well, what a great opportunity and partnership. And I live here in North Carolina, even though I'm based in Seattle. I thought this would be a great opportunity to have some form of collaboration and connectivity with not only Andrea, but also with the companies and also NC Tech Association. So that's what brings me here today. And I do represent Microsoft, all things external to Microsoft. I'm a external facing a member of the team of Microsoft Military Affairs. So Microsoft Military Affairs is a huge pie, if you just want to imagine that. And then the MSA program is just one sliver or one slice of that pie. So we do a lot of things in the veteran community, and it's 100% funded by Microsoft. I always want to say that up front. So any companies that partner with us, it is absolutely free. It's no charge. It is Microsoft's way of giving back to our veteran community. And 1% of our population, less than 1% of our population actually serves in the military. So they're a very unique niche community that brings a lot of perspective, a lot of talent, and a lot of leadership to any company. And that's generally what I spotlight with all of our IT partnering companies. Now, when I say IT partnering companies, that includes both tech companies and tech-enabled companies. So Southwest Airlines is one of our companies, partner companies. So they would be considered to be a a tech enabled, but a tech company like Dell or Oracle would be that very much so a tech company. And so we partner with a variety of companies. If you can imagine any Fortune 100, Fortune 500 company, we generally have one of our grads working there. The program, the MSSA program, has been around for a little over 10 years. We'll be celebrating our 11th year in about 3 weeks. But we've been around for a while, so we have over 3,600 graduates, which I'm going to show you in just a moment in a slide. But before I get to the slide, I just want to talk to you about the importance of veteran talent, what you're going to get in comparison to someone graduating out of college. So you have someone that is coming out of the military. Maybe they've served 20 years, or maybe they've served 8 years, maybe they've served 5 years. You're getting someone with leadership experience, real life experience in collaboration, real experience in dealing with problems and overcoming problems and adapting. You're dealing with someone that has an agile mindset, that they're able to see a problem and think strategically through that problem to the next level. And that's something that we identified early on about 12 years ago. Our VP, Chris Cortez, thought of this as he represents the company for all military engagements through service academies, through all branches of service. He said, well, we have this great talent that's leaving the military. If we just trained them and gave them some technical skills, some technical training, whether it be an entry level, but maybe they worked in IT while they're on active duty, we're losing that talent. And we've trained them. We've invested tax dollars. We invested a lot of effort, our nation has. Why not train them, layer on the talent, layer on the skill sets, and then launch them into companies? So this was a program that was started not just for Microsoft's best interest, but also for other partnering companies that not only in our portfolio, but also mom and pop shops and things like that, companies that are up and coming. It's really to broadcast the veterans into these companies just because they give back so much already. The other point I would want to make is that when people graduate from our program, we only place them in 3 locations. That's why we have over 1,000 hiring partners that have hired from our program. We only place in Redmond, Washington, which is our headquarters, which is outside of Seattle; Las Colinas, Texas, which is outside of Dallas. It's like a suburb of Dallas. And then in our national security group, which is in Reston, Virginia. And that would include all of our campuses in and around that pocket area. DC, we have campuses in DC, outside of Maryland, and around those particular areas. And so when someone graduates from our 17-week program, and maybe that's not a good fit for them as a location, that's why we connect with these other companies who could be located in Chicago, Illinois, or Montana, or Virginia Beach, Virginia, or someplace like that, where they can get viable employment. And then our program is also career producing. So having said all that as an intro, I'm just going to share my screen, and I'm going to work through these a few of these slides, because I do want to spend some time with Q&A and answer any questions you have about veteran talent, and also specifically about our program. And these slides will be made available for you. Okay, are you seeing this? Yes, okay, great. So as we work through this, our program is very robust. Again, it is considered to be a DoD skill bridge program. So it involves our participants who are transitioning from the military, but also folks that have already served, are now considered veterans. So a veteran is someone that has completed their term of service. They've been out in the community. They have what's called their DD-214, and they no longer have an obligation to the military. A skill bridge program also affords folks who are still on active duty in all branches of service, who have 180 to 210 days left on their time of service, that they can receive the training while receiving their active duty pay, that allows them to gradually transition without any financial hurt to them. or financial harm to them. So that's why the Department of Defense years ago had created this program, because as a result of the wars going on in Iraq and Afghanistan, the DoD found that we're putting some of our service members in a financial bind when it's time for them to get out. They've worked in a lot of different areas dealing with combat, but they may not have any functional skills that's good for the local community in which they will transition back into. So that was one of the reasons for these skill bridge programs, and it's many, but ours happens to be the premier skill bridge program because of the Microsoft name, but also for the career advancement that the program provides, and the income that they generally will be making once they transition from the course into an active employment. So we have 3 career paths, and our team is broken up into corporate engagement, which is a team that I lead. We also have a curriculum team. We own all the curriculum. And when someone comes into our program, we interview them and as if they're going to work for Microsoft. And so the expectation is anybody that's interviewed and accepted into the program is that they will work for Microsoft. But of course, as all of us may know, everyone may not be a good fit, and the location is always a huge thing, as I mentioned earlier. The other team that we have is an operational team, what we call the ops team. So they take care of everything dealing with the interviewing process of how they come into the program, handling the applications, managing and running all of our platforms, the portal platforms, marketing team. All of that falls under the operation team. So they do a lot of heavy lifting. One of the largest teams on the military affairs staff. But I did want to just point out here is that it is, once again, a free program. This doesn't cost our partnering companies anything throughout the continuum as for being with us. It is an industrial leading IT training. Again, we can pivot. We adjust the training year to year, cycle to cycle, based on our company needs, but also based on the needs of the IT industry is what we listen to. And just for example, there's a great need for cybersecurity. So we're running 8 cohorts this year for cybersecurity based on the need that Microsoft has, but also what our partnering companies need. One other example, prior to taking this position, I used to be a program manager over the cloud application development on the East Coast. And when I used to oversee that particular program, we only had 4 to 5 weeks of C# training. Now we have 12 weeks of C# training for our software engineering group. And that's huge based on the need. So we kind of moved away. There are people that come to the program that really want to focus on full stack development. However, based on some other information feedback, because we do listen to our partners, and we listen to the feedback of our students as they go through the program, they needed more training on C#, algorithms, dealing with containers, and everything that goes along with that on the back end. And so we added more additional training for that, and it's proven to be very, very profitable for us. So the other pathways that you see here: cloud application development, server cloud administration, and cybersecurity. You will find that people will have more experience, years of experience in IT, in the server cloud administration, and also cyber, because the branches of service have those vocations at all levels and all rank structures. And so you will find people that will come into the program already with a variety of certifications. And a lot of those skills are directly transferable into corporate structure. Now, what you'll find is lesser experience in the cloud application development area, unless the person has done it independently and worked on it on themselves. You know, a student has an interest in just learning all things cloud. They can do that on their own through Microsoft Learn or other platforms. But what we found is that you'll find more experience in this area, even though we hire directly from the program and hire software engineers directly from this with no college education or anything like that, as long as they can prove their skill sets, the things that they've learned. We also spend time with them in their professional development. And this is professional development on steroids because it's Microsoft based. And so we have career development managers, which are the Microsoft supervisors, as I call them, as they go through the course. They meet with them every day, and it is a virtual training. Just as we are on camera looking at each other, they have to have their cameras on, and they engage with their professors or their instructors as they go through the course. The instructors themselves actually are software engineers, and they are actually in the industry. They're just not educational instructors only. I think that's important. And so they can talk to them about real world. What did they learn? They learned how to do, of course, object-oriented programming from dealing with cloud application development, but they collaborate. They understand to work on teams. They understand deliverables. They understand Scrum formats and procedures, product ownership. They get exposed to all of that from a real world context. And so they work on two-person team deliverables, three-person team deliverables, eight-person team deliverables, and then they have a capstone project that brings everything together. And it's the focus for each pathway that's there. The job search and strategies that we help them with, dealing with networking and things like that. Because Microsoft owns LinkedIn, we do spend a lot of time talking to them about branding and developing your personal brand. And that's where the CDMs really spend a lot of time working with them to understand all that. Because in the military, everything is we. But what we try to explain to them, we does not get the job, only I get the job. And so that there requires about it takes each service member about 2 to 3 weeks to get out of that mindset, because generally a veteran is very, very seldom likes to talk about themselves. So we oftentimes use the terminology. I served 24 years and 18 in special operations. We're known as a quiet professional, so we just don't talk about what we do, because it's bragging and you're not representing yourself as a servant leader. But we try to break them from that. If they want to move into the career, you have to develop your personal brand. So we do spend hours dealing with that week after week. So this is the overall view of this. Again, a 17-week program, 8 to 5, Monday through Thursday. And then Friday, we focus on the professional development side. It is a global program. So when someone applies to the program, they are applying for one of the 3 pathways, whether it's cyber, server cloud administration, or cloud application development, but they also apply to a time zone, because we wanted to make sure that every service member, where they're located in the world, will have the opportunity to take the course as they transition back to the United States. So for example, if someone was stationed in Germany and they knew that they were going to transition back to the States in December, getting out of the Army, for example, we would want to give them the opportunity, if their chain of command allowed them to, take the program. And so we do operate the classes in different time zones: Central Standard, Japan Standard, Pacific Standard, and a European Standard time zone. So if you're stationed in the UK, in Italy or Germany, you can take the course European. If you're in Korea and Japan, anywhere in the Pacific Rim, you can take the course. And then anything on the west coast of the United States, as well as the East Coast, but the East Coast operates in Central Standard Time. And excuse me. And this is just a quick snapshot of the overview of the program itself. With our graduate number, and our graduation rate is 95%. Generally, people would oftentimes ask, well, 5%, what happened to the 5%? It is generally as a result of the hardship. Now, I personally have mentored 138 people through the program when I was a PM on the East Coast over a program, and only dropped, I won't say lost, but only dropped 2 from the program. And that was a result of one wanted to complete their PhD at NC State in mathematics. We encourage education, continue to have a growth mindset. And the other one, where the person's spouse wanted them to take a job before he graduated. And this company, one of our hiring partners, made an offer that he could not refuse. And I believe it's important to listen to your spouse. So I probably would have done the same thing. So no harm, no foul on that. And we're always very happy for when our veterans get the career that they want when they get out of the program. 97 Employed in continuing education is something that we stress, always keep learning because IT constantly changes. And then employed in tech is 92% there. And then this is a snapshot representative of our international numbers. 27, that includes both the Asia Pacific group and also the European group. And this is just a snapshot of the learning paths, as I mentioned, and this is our course expectations of their certification. Of course, we operate in all things cloud, dealing with Azure, and these are the Azure specific certifications that we expect them to achieve as they work through the program. We do pay, we do provide vouchers for them for these certifications. They do have to have certifications when they come into the program itself. And these are just snapshots of different pathways. This one will be updated, and I can provide that at a later date. And as I mentioned, this will be upgraded to 12 weeks of C# and more information on algorithms and more preparedness in the software engineering field for our folks, and a little less on front end and more on back end training for them based on the feedback that we received from our partners. And then they will have to have a Pearson VUE IT specialist software development. We do provide that certification for them as well, but we do pay for it one time for them to take that and all the necessary training. We do give them free access to LinkedIn Learning for premium for all of our students. They have it for a year, and it's something that we worked out with the LinkedIn team for that. And then, of course, for the server cloud, these are the prerequisites. And again, as I said earlier, most of the time, I would say 100% of the time, folks coming into this group generally already have the Net Plus certification, Sec Plus for accessing DoD systems, and a few other trainings. Because even in the government service, as far as being in DoD, as far as being a server administrator, you can branch out into all different areas. Some branch off into cyber, some stay mainly on the cyber admin, on leadership, for program management, contractual management, things like that. It depends on what the person's rank is. So we have a lot of talent that comes out in those particular areas. The same thing with security operations. You must have a level of certifications and experience to even be considered to come into this program. And we have what we like to say, we have a lot of unicorns that come through in the cyber group. There we're very proud of. And this, again, just a snapshot of the graduate profile of the type of persons that you're getting, their character, their attributes that they're bringing to the table prior to even going through the course of training. So our screening really says a lot, really speaks to our graduation numbers, because we do a lot of due diligence, if you will, when it comes to acceptance into the program. For example, we'll have 300 people apply to 40 seats. It's just that competitive. But we do, from a diversity standpoint, we do look for women to come into the program, because as I mentioned to you before, I've mentored 138 through the course personally, and of that number, only had 5 women, and 3 of them work for Microsoft right now. But we try to raise that number. So if you look at any of our marketing, you'll always see women leading the way. We're very intentional about that, and we do go out, in our recruiting groups, look for women somewhere in the STEM vocations within the military. It could be intel analysts. It could be someone that worked in the special operations community, that they deal a lot with STEM and engineering groups throughout the services. We do go after folks and do a lot of marketing in that area. But a lot of the marketing is done by our graduates, because through word of mouth, that's the greatest marketing tool for us. But we do try to keep the classes smaller, 15 and under anyway, just because of the level of training and the high expectations we have for them to succeed. And that gives our instructors to have a more one-on-one engagement with them. All right. And so from this point, what I'd like to do is transition to our hiring portal. Now, our hiring portal has all the the resumes or profiles as our graduates complete the course. Their resumes or profiles are loaded into our portal. This is free access, 24/7 access to our partners, that they can look at the talent themselves. So, for example, I'm a busy person, and so even though I talk with hundreds of companies every year, I personally, no one on my team has personally the time to go in and look for a person for a company. So that's why we give companies, talent resources, recruiters, hiring managers, national directors access to our portal, that they can look for the talent because they know exactly what they're looking for. And so that's very, very important. And again, this is a benefit that we provide to our partners, because again, it's like spotlighting our graduates and their skill sets, that you can go in and look and see, look for the type of person that will be the best fit for your company. So I'm going to move out of this screen, and I'm going to bring up this is a hiring portal, and this is on a SharePoint platform. And it provides a lot of information for our hiring partners. This could also be
Terry,
yes?
are you sharing your screen?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not sharing. One second.
We can see you. We can't see your screen.
Okay, awesome. Hold on for a second. Thank you. I'm so used to Teams, so gotta click,
Okay.
Full transparency. I'm so used to it. Okay. All
Perfect.
right. Are you seeing this now?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay,
now.
awesome. So as I said, a lot of our marketing is really focused on spotlighting women in tech. That's just where our focus is, and across the board for diversity, people of color as well. As you go back, and you can go back and look at all of our screenshots and anything that we have concerning recruitment, it always deals with diversity. And so this is one of our graduates. She was a Coast Guard pilot, and she actually works for Microsoft. She graduated last year. And this is some information, as I was saying before, that provides other background. If you're interested in being a partner, telling you more about MSSA, if you just want to share with people within your organization. So, for example, if you're looking for someone, looking for talent for your particular company, you would just come here and click on search resumes. And I like to call them profiles as well, because it prints off as a PDF. And so, and it may not look exactly like a resume that you normally are used to, but when you engage with one of our graduates and you're looking to interview them, you just simply ask them, hey, I'm looking for a targeted resume for this particular requisition or this particular job description and or levels role. And then if we trained them correctly, they should be able to get that to you within 2 hours if we train them correctly. And so there's currently 74 people in this platform, and it is SharePoint based. And so once you get access, or if a partner gets access to it, I just tell them just to play around in it. You're not going to hurt anything because it's SharePoint based. So get around, get comfortable with it as much as you can. And then when I demo this, I always tell them that it's very active. So there's currently 74 people looking for roles across the different pathways. That includes SCA, CAD, and also cyber. I think there's only one cyber person left, because they really get off the bench pretty quickly. And so what I'm going to do is just going to demo this very quickly. If you're looking for a software engineer or anybody full stack or whatever, you'd click on cloud application developer. That brings the countdown to 41. And again, this is updated every single week. These aren't people that are lingering. So even though it's 74 right now, by the end of the day, there may be 66 or 65, because I know people are constantly being hired. And we do have many hiring partners, as I mentioned, but everyone doesn't hire at the same rate. Everybody doesn't hire at the same during the same month or anything like that. So it varies from time to time when our partners hire. Some companies hire in the spring, some hire in the fall, some have internship programs. And so we just make the platform accessible to them to allow our grads to be spotlighted. And then we do have some of our partners have security requirements for clear talent, especially working with DoD and other governmental agencies. You could click on one of those to screen, and I'll just do that, and I'll just click secret. And if you are looking for anyone with a clear talent, I always recommend that you click on all of the area, all the buttons. And over here, you can designate region, which is always I recommend to do that, opposed to individual state, because we do train them and remind them to be open to any reasonable offer. So if I am looking to move to Florida, and I never considered North Carolina, but there could be a great fit company in North Carolina that I never even heard of, never even thought of. I like the culture. North Carolina is not that far. It's just, several miles north of Florida, or North Carolina is several miles north of Florida. So there could be something that's be open for myself and for my family to consider that I never thought about living in North Carolina. And so that's why we recommend the actual region. And then over here for degree requirement, 97% of our partners waive the degree requirement for our graduates based upon their military service and the rigor of the program. It's a very tough program to get in, and also a very tough program to complete. And then over here for remote, it's pretty common. Everybody's open to remote. Most of our graduates are, wouldn't worry about that. And then here's one that I would like to call out is the experience level. 1 to 5 years or 5 years of experience. So you're going to see a variety of experience from 0 to 5+ years of experience. So depending on what you're looking for, and I'm just going to click on 1 to 5 years of experience, and then you come down here to 7. And let me just click on here for Southeast, and then we have 3. So this would include the North Carolina area as well. And then if I was looking for a particular person, I'm going to click on Rico. I don't know Rico, but I'm just going to click on Rico. He does have a bachelor's degree with Marines, and this kind of gives you a snapshot of the person's background or anything that they're trying to highlight or spotlight about themselves. I think it's very, very important that they do that. And then this person is one of our unique folks, where he worked while he was in the Marine Corps. Let's see here. He worked with leading technical teams on an SCA or on a server area. But what he did was he could have taken a server cloud route, but he challenged himself to be a software developer, which is huge, which is indicative of people coming out of the military. They always strive to do a little bit more. At least that's a strong attribute of the people in our program. And then also on this platform, as I quickly move through this, you can also post jobs on here as well. Any of our partners can post particular requisitions or are spotlighting any particular need that they have for their company. And it's very, very quick and easy that you can do this. And we just have a few listings there. All right, and I'm gonna stop sharing and here. Okay, and open it up for any questions that you may have about our program or veteran hiring, anything I can assist with.
Terry, we do have 3 questions. Are there remote options for the program, for the training?
Yes, all of this training is virtual. All of it is remote. There's nothing on site. So you could be in New York City and take a Pacific Standard Time class and just operate directly from your home, take it from your home. It's all remote.
And is this program only available to service members participating in the SkillBridge program?
Yes, because it is a SkillBridge program, you can either be you could be a transitioning service member on active duty. You could be a veteran who's already completed their time of service. Maybe you served from 2010 to 2015, you got out, you worked in IT, and you heard about a program, you come back in. It is also available to National Guard, Armed Reserve as well.
Okay. I know you're going to like this question. What is the process for becoming an employer partner?
Very easy. You just contact me. It's a very informal process.
Okay. And like I mentioned earlier, we will share out Terry's contact information in an email later this afternoon once we have the recording edited and processed. Another question about how to become a partner company. So that's good. And then this may be included after you're a partner company. What is the cost to an employer to post a job on the SharePoint site?
There is no cost at all to any of our partners across our platform. I did mention for the virtual, we run 4 virtual hiring fairs. That is all, we own the platform. Is also free. We have another team that you'll set up that's under my guidance that will set up your booth, that will design your booth, and it's all free. And again, this is all for the veteran to spotlight themselves before you. It's part of their branding. It's part of their professional development. So what we do, that it's the other side of the coin that we do for them.
So once a company is a partner with Microsoft, they'll get the information about when those virtual hiring events are and how to participate. Okay.
Yeah, I'll provide a full schedule, updates, what I call partner benefits that you'll get exposed to. And that's one of the, I always try to deal with that, the elephant in the room, because people will oftentimes say, I can't, is this actually free? Well, nothing is really free. It's already been paid for by Microsoft. You know, it's fully funded by Microsoft. So there's no cost to the partner, because if there was, some partners would be able to do it, but we want to be able to expose everyone and give fair advantage to the mom and pop IT companies as well as the big heavy hitters and the Fortune 50, Fortune 100 folks.
Yeah, that's great. It's definitely one of those programs that sounds too good to be true, because the training has been paid for and now it's here. Here's a well-trained IT professional with experience and background and leadership skills and all the other things that come with the military.
Yep.
So we do have one question from an active. I'm currently an active Army infantry. What can I do to become competitive with other candidates with IT and cyber experience?
Wow. I would look at the schedule on our site, and if you are, because it is very competitive, if you are interested in it, I would make sure that you follow through with the process. I will tell you that of those 300 that apply, 150 of them, about 50%, don't make it through, don't do the follow-up for the administration process. So when you first apply to the program, for the date and time zone that you're looking to be part of, there are certain requirements that you have to go through. You know, your command release, that's something that you work on. The certification, we provide all the learning material. But if you already worked in cyber, if you already have a Sec Plus, Net Plus, Area Plus, whatever, you already have that, you're golden. So the only thing that you have to do is provide that information to the application manager. Everyone's assigned an application manager that's on the ops team, and then schedule your interview. A lot of people stop at that process. 50%. It's amazing to us that they would go through 3 or 4 hurdles and then but won't jump over the 5th hurdle to get into the program, would go to the interview. And we prep you for the interview. We help you, we mentor you through the interview. So it's not like it's a blind thing that you walk into. So a lot of times people will disqualify themselves. They'll tap out and not go through it because they'll be intimidated. Well, there's only 10 seats. I may not make it. Well, you know, it's just the way things are. And if you are a veteran, you know, you're served, you know that everybody that goes through a military course doesn't always make it through. But we don't want you to give up. We want you to continue to move forward, because again, if you give up, chances are you're going to give up on the program. And we don't want you to do that if you get accepted.
Amen. You don't know if you don't try.
Yes.
Is there a way to see which certifications are required to be competitive in the program application?
Yes. The slide deck that I had, that Andrea has, that I showed you, it has those prerequisites on there. And one of the competitive traits that we look for is passion above anything else. Because remember now, you do not have to have, for cloud application development, just using that one for example, an SEA, you do not have to have any prior training, any prior experience. You do have to have the Pearson VUE certification to get into the course. But competitively, if only thing you have is a Pearson VUE certification and everyone else has a SEC Plus, I'm going to be honest with you, chances are you're not going to get into the course. Now, if you have a bachelor's degree and someone doesn't, that may not necessarily weigh on whether or not you get into the program. But remember, if you have 10 people that are fully qualified and it comes down to the interview and only one person demonstrates passion, that one person is going to get into the course. Now, what I mean passion is, we ask you very, very point blank, why IT? Why Microsoft? What part of IT moves you? I understand you want to be in cloud application development. I know you want to be a cyber, but what part of cyber are you most interested in long term? What part of it? And then you just speak to it. We want you to tell us why. Why do you want to do this? You know, what excites you? Because if it excites you, it's really going to be part of who you are, and you're going to learn. You want to learn. You got to continue to grow. And everyone, and I'm sure in all the IT companies, folks I'm speaking to, you want your employers to continue to learn and grow. And it's part of the Microsoft culture. So remember now, our expectation is when you come to the program, you will work for Microsoft. That's our expectation. We can't guarantee you that you'll work for Microsoft. We'll guarantee you the interview 100%, but we cannot guarantee that a hiring manager will hire you. But we can guarantee that a hiring manager will speak to you. Every company can't do that. So, but that's part of the benefit of coming to the program.
I heard a lot about attitude and aptitude in there.
Yeah.
Very important. All right, well, we don't have any other questions. We are happy that everyone was able to attend this morning. And as I mentioned, I'll send out an email later this afternoon with the slides, because there was a lot of detail on a few of those slides about the three focus areas, as well as Terry's contact information and a link to the recording. We'll send that out later this afternoon, and just please feel free to ask me or Terry questions. We would love to be able to connect Microsoft as an NC Tech member with other NC Tech members to help place some of these individuals and make sure you have the talent that you need. So with that, Terry, thank you very much for joining us today. All very informative and helpful. And I know that a lot of our members really appreciated learning more about the Microsoft Software and Systems Academy and the talent coming through there.
Yes, and thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to represent Microsoft Military Affairs this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.